My name is Lambert Stumpel. I'm a dentist practicing in San Francisco for the last 20 years. I'm originally from the Netherlands, from Holland. I graduated in 1982. After that, I spent 3 years on the island of Aruba, which was really, really nice. And then I practiced for 7 years in Holland and then moved to the United States, to San Francisco. My practice is in downtown San Francisco. With that comes a mostly adult population, so no children and very few families. It's a beautiful place to practice. I feel very, very fortunate, and luckily for everybody involved, things are working out quite nicely. When I graduated in 1982, that was kind of the time when the Swedes were starting to spread the gospel a little bit about osseointegration. I was just lucky to be there at that time, and I got my essential training, my initial training, I would say, in Malmö. Most of my experience has been after that prosthetic. I have restored many thousands of implants. About 10 years ago, I got interested in guided surgery and in computer-guided surgery, and that basically accumulated at one point that I said, well, why not place a few implants myself? And so I would say since 2005, I have become involved with the placement of dental implants, and I must say only in a fully guided fashion, either by the computer or by means of model-based, cast-based technologies as we have it. I would say that the ability to both restore and place has been very, very gratifying. And one of the interesting things what you see is I'm obviously from Europe, I'm from Holland, where in these two countries or these two worlds, the knowledge level is more or less the same. The products are more or less the same, but for whatever reason, which is a cultural reason, the way things are done differs. In this country, the United States, you see much more of a separation of the jobs, where you have a surgical component and you have a prosthetic component. In Europe, it is very common that the person who places the implant is also the person who restores the implant. So now for me, having the ability to both place and restore the implant has been very interesting and, as I said, very satisfying. I believe that a lot of that will start to come to these shores in the United States, where more people will be placing implants that also are restoring these dental implants. And obviously, with that, they will have to have some type of technology, and that's why I believe that guided surgery is very, very suited for that, to place these implants in exactly the right spot. And they will never be able to get the same skill set as someone who places 500 to 1,000 implants per year. So something that helps to augment that lack of skill, not the lack of knowledge, but the lack of skill, I believe will bring in more people into this arena. We have to realize that the penetration of dental implants in the United States is nothing compared, for instance, to the penetration of implants in certain European countries, as Sweden or Switzerland or Italy. And so I really think that there is still so much work to be done for us as a profession. Well, obviously, I have no crystal ball, but I'm thinking that a few things are happening, and you kind of see that slowly occurring. I just obviously talked about guided surgery. I believe that a much larger group who has less experience will be starting to place implants, and they will need technology to do that. And so I believe that guided surgery is going to be a serious component of that. Clearly, and I'm biased because it's my child, but the model-based concept that we're going to be discussing here at Guide will allow a much larger group of people to get into guided surgery, to start to learn how guided surgery works, and then at one point they can upgrade to a computer-guided surgery, which obviously has its pros, but might not be completely economically feasible for small cases. I think in the implant arena, we obviously have an amazing success rate at the moment. So I think it's going to be very difficult to improve on that. There's a lot of work being done now at the stability of the soft tissue, so I'm thinking that we still have stuff to come there. I believe that we are going to much shorter implants than what we were used to historically. I think that 15 years ago, 13 millimeters was the standard implant. I think at this moment in time, if you go to implant companies, they probably will tell you that 10 and a half is the majority of where they have their sales. And I believe that that will go down. And so with that obviously comes a shorter implant. That means there's less to know. Thinner implants, because we will have stronger materials, and stronger materials will leave smaller implants of smaller diameter with equal strength. We know that from an osseointegration perspective they work, and so it will allow cases to be less complex, less grafting. If we look and we tie that into, for instance, cone beam technology, which is a wonderful technology that we really are very grateful for that it's there. I believe that cone beam is not needed in every case, and where, as an example, if I said, I believe implants are going to be shorter in the future than what they are today. If you, for instance, have a ridge that is a 15 millimeter ridge and you want to place a 13 millimeter implant, then you will need a cone beam information because you only have 2 millimeters from the tip of the implant to the canal. If you have the same ridge but you're going to place an 8.5 millimeter implant, then clearly that cone beam is not going to give you the same ease of mind as what you otherwise would have. So I think that the rules are going to be changing somewhat. The way the providers are working together. Right now we will see that we quite often have a central provider who maybe has 20 people referring to him, 50 implants a year. He does about 1,000 implants. I now believe that this group around the central provider is going to be doing the low-hanging fruit. And I don't say that that is not important, but clearly there are many cases that really are not that difficult. And so I think that there's going to be a change in how the care is going to be supplied. And with that, I think also a larger group of the population will finally get to see the benefits of dental implants. I think what guided surgery will do for a large group of people, and I'm not talking about dentists, who want to get into this part of what we do as dentists, or who want to get a better result is what they do as dentists. I believe guided surgery will prevent you to get into trouble. And so if you will not go into trouble, then there's no need for you to develop a skill set how to get out of trouble. And that means that I believe that if you can prevent the outskirts, then you do not have to have that skill set. And I will know that people will disagree with me on that aspect. But I really think that if you are certain that that implant will exactly end up in the spot where you wanted it to be ending up, then you don't have to be afraid that you go into the nerve, or that you go into the lingual fossa, or that you by accident drill into the sinus. Because with guided surgery, and if you do that well, you will not. So I think it will open up a arena for dentists that have been on the sideline or have not been fully committed to where I think they can be. My interest outside of dentistry, and my wife will concur with that. Dentistry is pretty much my really big driver, and so I spent an enormous amount of time doing that, and obviously developing my new product has been the biggest time sink of the last 5 years. But if I would say something, then I like to ski. I'm not necessarily very good at it, but I still like to ski. So there is still a lot of skiing techniques to be learned by me. And I like, we live in San Francisco. I really love that city. I really love to go out, and we have an amazing food scene. They take food very seriously. So that is a big thing of my life. And obviously I cannot leave my two girls out, my wife and daughter. I spend time with them. May it be more. but I would think that is what I do outside of dentistry. But it's a pretty full plate in the dental world.
Thank you very much. That was perfect.
For more education programs, visit the Guide Institute at www.guidedental.com.